But like, that's something I'm also practicing is like self-support, self-love, being proud of myself. Like, it took me a minute to even say that.
My name is Datavio Samuels, and welcome to the Blackprint, where I sit with the innovators, disruptors, and change makers. My guests open up about every step of their journey and share lessons learned along the way to provide creators, entrepreneurs, and executives with a tangible blueprint for navigating to the top of their industry. This is the Blackprint. Welcome to the Blackprint. We start every show off the same. Everybody sees you on the mountaintop. Not everybody sees you on the climb. This is the show where we talk to the ceiling breakers, the innovators, the disruptors about their climb to the top. Today, I'm so grateful to have this king sitting next to me. As you guys know on the Blackprint, I never introduce our guests. At REVOLT, we believe that you should control and own your own narrative. So, Brother Trevor, if you can, for the audience, please introduce yourself.
What's up, y'all? I'm Trevor Jackson. I'm a liver and lover of life, son of God, and I'm a constant chain breaker, no limits, no bounds. Get one life, do it all.
I love that. We definitely gonna have to get into that chain breaker concept.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the beginning, right?
Okay.
So you are from
75 years.
You're from where?
Indiana. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. You want just a quick rundown?
Yeah. Tell me about it.
All right, I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. I started off tap dancing. I remember when I was young, I was 3 years old, and this is the story my mom tells, that I was flipping off of like furniture. I'm obsessed with Ninja Turtles. I have a giant Ninja Turtle tat on my leg right here. She said she took me somewhere to like learn gymnastics, and I walked past like a tap dancing room, and I fell in love with tapping. And from that point on, I was in love with, Gregory Hines, Bojangles, and all these people that I was studying, Nicholas Brothers. They weren't just dancing, they were singing and they were performing. And I fell in love with that. And that kind of like built the rest of the thing out. So yeah, I did that for some years, and then I did the Broadway show Lion King. I did that for 3 years.
So how old were you when you landed that Lion King gig?
I was 8, and that was after a huge car accident I was in. Me, my brother, my mom, and my dad. I was paralyzed for like 3 days. My brother had a concussion. My mom was bruised up. And this was in between. We were debating if we were going to go or not, She was like, I don't know, like, he's young. But I kept saying, I was like, yo, this is what I want to do. I want to do it. Like, let's go do it. And so then after the car accident, she was like, life is short. We're going to go. And she drove from Indiana to Chicago to an open call. It was 5,000 kids. I was one of the 5,000.
Can I pause you for a second?
Yeah, please.
How does an 8-year-old get into a car accident, be paralyzed, and then get up a couple of days later and go do one of the biggest auditions of his life?
Yeah, I mean, hey man, I don't have the answers, Sway. I don't have the answers, but I will say, like, that was my biggest concern when I remember being in the hospital. I was like, yo, will I be able to dance again? Like, I'll be able to be on stage and just perform, do what I love to do. So I was really scared, at the time. But as soon as I got better and we were good, she was like, let's go.
Time to go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I went and did that, and that changed my life. I'm just around, top of the line when it comes to performance, live performing especially. People are coming from Alvin Ailey, they're coming from Juilliard, and it's the best singers, best dancers in the world. Every day you're with these guys. So that kind of just changed my whole perspective on life, what I want to do. I gotta entertain.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget, I was 8 years old, and there was I just remember I did so many shows. You get to a point where it's just kind of like running in the back of your head. And I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat later, shit like that. And I remember looking at the front row, and I was like, everybody was smiling. Yeah, black, white, whoever was in the front, and they were just like, and I was like, I'm just up here doing my thing. Like, I'm not even tripping on nothing, but I'm just looking. I'm like, yo, this is what I could do. This is what I bring. I bring happiness, or hopefully inspiration, a feeling, and emotion. And after I had that little moment of that, it's been that ever since.
So you had that dream to become an entertainer. Was it a certain type of entertainer at that point in time? Were you thinking film? Were you thinking dance? Were you thinking...
All of it.
All right, it was everything.
I've always been that way, and that's my problem. I'm like, do everything or nothing.
Mm.
So in other areas of my life, it's been a struggle. But you know what I mean? I think that's why it's a gift and a curse. It's why I'm good at what I do, but it's also why can't really go to sleep, or, you know what I mean?
I was going to say, so how do you manage that? Because if you are, when you have the ability to just focus on one thing, you can go deep.
Yeah.
You have somehow managed to go deep in lots of different lanes. How did you make that happen?
I think that came from survival. you know, a lot of pain in life, like, or anything, joy in life. I feel like, but anything that I didn't know how to contain with my own body, I had to do and put it into music, or I had to do it when I'm going to set and just like let loose. You know what I mean? Because if you hang on to that stuff, you'll explode. Which I've been close, you know. And then I'm like, I got to go downstairs. I got to write a whole album. It's got to be, you know. I did that when I came back from Indiana this year. I came back and I was going through a lot, and I wrote like a whole album in a week.
Oh,
and it's one of the
wow.
best albums I've ever written. But it's not like I went into it being like, hey, I'm gonna write the best album I've written. I'm like, yo, I'm in a lot of pain. I don't know how to alleviate this thing, so I'm gonna start writing. And then each song, I felt less and less weight. I felt less and less pain. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean?
So is that what your world looks like? Are you doing 5 things at the same time, or does it just happen to be seasons? Like that's a season where you're like, 1 week I am deep.
No, it's 5 things at the same
It's
time.
5 things at the same
Yeah.
time.
But for that, nothing came in between that, because I was just like, it was just looking for immediate relief.
Yeah.
It was immediate relief. It was like, I got to take another aspirin. Time's up. I got another Advil. Got to take another Advil. That was kind of like what that was for me. But definitely throughout the day, like, you know, we got an audition for this. I got an audition for that. And I got to go, we got to put this thing on tape. We got to record a song real quick. Hey, we need you guys to write a jingle for this commercial thing. Okay, well, you know.
How is your brain capable of holding all of that?
I think because it doesn't hold anything. That's what
I actually think my brain is a little.
You know what I'm saying? People are like, how do you do it? I'm like, dude, I wait until like I'm at the place and they look at me and say, hey, you're about to go in here. You guys are going to talk about this. You might have to write about this. Just be right. And then I'm like, okay, boom, let's go do that. But if you tell me that yesterday, today it's gone.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you said.
When you think about and you talk about your memory, do you feel like you have a good, strong memory? Because like because of that, I'm often like, my memory's a little tight.
Yeah, no, my memory's shaky.
Okay, yeah.
It depends. My memory's not like, you know, I guess it depends. I have a better short-term memory though. Like even when I'm on set, like I don't look at the script until I get there, and then I kind of look at it. Okay, boom, boom. All right, roll, let's do it. And I kind of do it like that. It depends on the job. If I'm gonna be there for like a month before studying a character, he's got to be way different from me. He's got to have, you know, different quirks about him. But yeah, short term is probably better.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think I never forget a face though. When I see a face, I'm like, I've seen your face before.
Mm-hmm.
But if details, people are like, you said it was gonna be this time. Don't ask me time. Don't ask me. And if you're mad at me, you should be mad at yourself, knowing going into it, asking me about the time. I don't know.
Do you have any recommendations? So there's so many people out there who feel like there are 3, 4, 5 things in their spirit that they're trying to get off.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting our person who's been able to do that. Do you have a recommendation? So it's worked for you, but do you have a recommendation for anybody who's sitting on 3 or 4 things? Would you say, look, go focus on one and face
That's
it?
probably the best thing to do. And that's what I hear when I ask people. But it is hard because I feel like I could be doing that, and the one thing that I needed for that other project could hit me while I was trying to work on this. Like I could be trying to write a script and I need a bar for this song, but I'm like, let me get away from that. Let me go write the script. And then something goes boom, boom. Hey, that's the bar. Then I got to go do that real quick before I forget it. I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I'm the wrong person to ask. But I do think that's the best way though. You know what I mean? One thing at a time, get it off. But I also think what's heaviest on the heart.
Yeah.
Because it makes the other work easier. So I'm like, whatever is causing me the most like strife or like weighing the heaviest on me, let me get that out of the way kind of first, and then go like that. Kind of leaves it open.
Oh, good. All right, so let's go back to the story. So
Yeah.
You land this Lion King piece. Do you realize how big of a deal it is? At
the time, no.
Okay.
At the time.
Okay, you were just a little kid having fun.
Hey, man, I get to backflip on stage and like sing and like people like recognize me after. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. All right. So take me from the Lion King. What happens right after the Lion King?
So,
What's the next big?
the Lion King for 3 years, I did 800 and some shows from 8 years old to 11 years old.
Wow.
And
what was school like?
School, oh man, me in school. I hope to someday get into that field, you know, just different way of learning. I don't like that everybody is like forced to learn the same way. I think it kind of prohibits people from, anyways. School, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., hour break, got to go to this theater. First half hour of the show, I'm the first hour, so I'm performing the whole first hour. Got an intermission, whole second hour, I'm doing school again. By the time we're done, it's probably 11, and I'm jumping off the walls. I got a high from being on stage, you know. I probably don't go to sleep until 1 or 2, and then do it again. Yeah, that was every day.
Okay, so what comes after the Lion King?
After the Lion King, people are like, New York, LA, New York, LA, New York, LA. What are you gonna do? You gotta take him somewhere. You gotta take him somewhere. And I'm like, LA. Because I just came, I was on tour in Hawaii. I'm like, ocean, water. I'm a surfer, so like I got to be near
Water.
that stuff.
I love water.
And I haven't been in a while. Speaking, I'm in an interview saying I haven't been in months, but I need to go. But yeah, so I was like, yo, I want to go to LA. And that's what happened. Moved out here in 2008 and have been chipping away ever since.
What's the first big hit when you moved to LA?
My first TV show ever, I was on a show called Cold Case.
Okay.
And I played a little guy named Turbo. He was a he was a graffiti tagger illegally,
Okay.
running around the city tagging shit. Yeah, ended up dying in the show and everything. I mean, I'll never forget my grandpa. He had a stroke, so he doesn't speak anymore. But I just remember my dad telling me he was watching and he just got up and went into his room like he was watching the show. But when I died, he was like,
he had enough.
I'm not watching this. I'm not watching this. What y'all got me watching? But yeah.
Did it take you a long time to land that role? How quickly did you land that role?
Wait, what? No, I was out here for 2 years, man. I auditioned probably 20 times a week. Not 20, that's dramatic. That's with the white kids audition that many times. You probably get like 5, 6, you know what I mean? Maybe.
So what's that like, going in, auditioning every week 5, 6 times and not landing anything? Do you remember how that felt?
Yeah, I remember how it felt, but I was just like, I feel like I've been since I was young, in love with the hero story. There's a thing on YouTube called Finding Joe that I love. It kind of broke it down good, but all the stories that I'm attracted to are that, like, Avatar, Harry Potter, Star Wars, like The Chosen, Hercules, all this stuff. So I knew if I was that person in my own story, I'm going to have to deal with a lot of BS. So as a kid, I'm just kind of like, hey, this is why. Just because it would only affirm that I was great when I went through a lot of like stuff.
Can you talk through the hero's journey? Do you know it?
Oh, so you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that?
Well, I haven't, but I know the hero's
journey. But you know the hero's journey?
Yeah, the cycle.
I don't know it exactly. I've only seen the thing one time.
What's your version?
But my version is just like, there's self-sacrifice involved. There's a lot of pain involved. But I do think that there's like, and then there's like an area where you have to go it alone. That's kind of like where I'm at in my journey right now. I'm like at the part where it's like, okay, he's got to isolate. He's got to go train, like, and so whatever. You know what I mean? And then come back around. But I think it's I don't know. I just think I'm here for more than myself, for like a lot of people.
But you found this archetype out in the world, or you found this story, this framework, and then you were processing your life.
Yeah, through that
framework.
That's why I love
it. In order to get to the hero's journey, I got to go through the pain. I got to go through the self-sacrifice. So you were ready for it.
Yeah, and I'm thankful to my family too, like my dad and my brother, and my family, and my mom. Like, no slouches either in life. Like, if stuff was hard, okay, get up. So let's go. And, I have met people throughout my journey who didn't have that, and it shows in the way that they work. I'm tired, so I'm not going to go into work. I feel sick, so I'm not going to go into work. I'm like, what? I got to go regardless what's going on.
So what would you say to people who so that is a story about the importance of your circle and who's around with you.
Yeah.
What would you say to people about, people always talk about mind the people around you. Some people talk about, if you show me your circle, I'll show you who you will become. What do you think is the power of the circle that you have around you?
I think it's super powerful. Sometimes it's hard to leave a circle if you are the most whatever person in it. So sometimes you can be being brought down, but you can't really see it. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's sometimes hard, and it can get misconstrued depending on your circle. You're like, this circle feels good. It's like, yeah, it feels good because you're like the smartest person in the circle. But I want to start being in more circles where I don't feel like the smartest. I want to like do a little more challenging of myself. So I think it's very important, and I think it does have a big say. But it sucks because, like I said, if you are the person and you're kind of leading that circle, people are going to follow you whether you're doing good shit or bad shit.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like wanting to, wrap my head more around that.
Yeah, all good. No, I never want to be in a room where I'm the smartest person in the room, right? I always feel like if I'm the smartest person in the room, I did something wrong.
Yeah.
And then I'm just a believer in having a circle around you that can hold the bar high, right?
Yeah.
That everybody's operating at a standard. I don't think I would be where I am today if I wasn't around people who all were trying to perform and achieve at a certain level, Okay, so you're hustling. It's 2 years.
2 years auditioning. I remember my first commercial. I think it was like my first commercial, I think it was like a T-Mobile, and I was on the screen for literally half a second. And I think I said text. Boom. It was like, a bunch of people, but I was screaming. It's crazy to think about that now. I was having a conversation with my brother the other day, and I'm like, yo, it's just crazy how I used to freak out if I saw my face and now I like don't even go to the movies that I'm in or like shows, like I don't watch them, you know?
Why not? Like,
Um,
what's the change? What changed before I was so excited to now, like, I don't even want to consume that?
mm, I think it's like, you know, it's never enough. It's that vibe. That's what we were talking about before. It's like a gift and a curse. It's like, I'm here, but I want to be there. And I was actually talking to Shia LaBeouf about this, and he's like, dude, you're never going to feel like you're there.
Yeah.
He was like, you're going to do a movie with your heroes. Then you're going to be like, well, why don't I have this? Then you're going to get the house you've always wanted. Then you're going to be like, well, like this. You're going to have the girl you've always wanted. Then you're like, he was like, yeah, it's never going to be enough. So you got to find another way. And so I've been trying to practice that. But yeah, I went from not watching my stuff at all to now I do watch it because I think it's important to know where you were during a scene and how it looked. Because there's been scenes where I'm like, I bodied that. That was the best scene I ever done. And I watch them like, that's not what I thought I did. Or I'm like, man, I really didn't feel good in that scene. I felt unsettled. And I watch it back. It's one of the best scenes I've ever done. So I think it's nice to know like where your body and mind and soul was at. So now I'm trying to do more of that. Watch stuff back.
I'm still trying to get better at that. I honestly hate seeing myself on camera. I will watch our interview though.
Yeah. That's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire.
But like, I'm still not used to seeing myself on camera, hearing my voice. It's awkward.
We got to start cheering for us how we cheer for other people, man. And if we do cheer for other people, then we need to start cheering for other people if we don't. But like, that's something I'm also practicing is like self-support, self-love, being proud of myself. Like, took me a minute to even say that. I was 24 the first time.
And we're gonna go back. But what happened at 24 where you were like, I'm proud of myself?
I was just in the mirror going through some shit, and I said it, and I like bawled for like 5 minutes. About myself, holding myself, like yo. But it was almost like I was happy, but I was also mad at myself. Like, why'd you take you this long to say that to me, bro? So
now, how often do you think you say it to yourself?
I do way more. Not as often as I should, but way more. At least a few times a week. Hey, man, you look good. You're awesome to be around. Everything that you want in this life, you'll have. Continue to walk around with kindness because that's the person that you're. You know what I mean?
Yeah, power of
and you're dope. You sing your butt off. You act your ass off. You can write your ass off. And let's do more. Come on. You know, being more on my own business partner. Like, because if I'm talking to my business partner, I want him to do a good job. I'm not going to be like, yeah, man, you suck today. You don't really look that great. I don't like the way you sounded. You look you know what I mean? They're not going to perform good. I want to perform good. So I'm just, you know, always morphing.
All right. So you land the thing on Cold Case. You get your first TV spot. Was a TV spot like a thing or was it just kind of like a blip to you?
No, that was a big deal. Okay, I was in it a lot. Yeah. It's funny, dude. Please, y'all go watch it. Don't go watch this. No, I'm kidding. It was good. But I was 13, yeah. And it was just my first time being on camera. Please forgive me. I'm spacing on the young man's name. Hispanic actor. He's amazing. He was in Coach Carter. He was in Illegal Tender. I'm forgetting his name. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Obviously, I'm losing my mind. It's like the first time I'm working with somebody that I've seen before. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is him. And I remember watching those scenes back and I'm just like, you know, yeah. So that happened. And then after that, it was the same stuff, you know, chipping away. I think I did Harry's Law after that.
What are you doing? So in between this time where you're chipping away, so clearly you're auditioning. Yeah. What else are you doing?
Martial arts. Good question. Did capoeira every single day for 7 hours. If I was
for 7 hours.
Yeah, from 11 to however many 7 hours is after that.
And why capoeira? How did you fall in love with that? Why was it important to you?
When I was in Lion King, one of the dancers, her name's Sumaya, she was like, "Oh, when you guys go to LA, you got to meet up with my brother, Ashe. He's a master now, Master Ashe. But when I met him, he's an instructor, and I hated it. I was 11 years old. They wore these tight pants. You could like see everything. I'm like, I'm not wearing this. I'm not playing this game, dancing, whatever. And then I learned the history of it, you know, African slaves brought to Brazil, weren't allowed to fight, weren't allowed to train, weren't allowed to sing, do anything. So they acted dumb and acted like they were just dancing while they were planning on overrunning their slave masters. And I was like, ooh, I like that. So, yeah, I fell in love with it, man. And I did it for like 9 years. I still kind of do it, but that was what kept me.
But you're doing it for 7 hours.
Oh yeah,
a
straight.
Day.
Flipping, tricking and martial art. So it'll be like a martial art class, trick class, martial art, trick class, and that's throughout the whole day.
The man that I see today, is there a role that season of all of that intense training, how did it contribute to the man that I see in front of me today?
So Superfly did some martial arts stuff, and that was I did a lot of martial arts in that. But also, I think the future roles that I want, I'm going to play a Marvel hero at some point.
Okay.
I don't know who it is, but Definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And I think it'll definitely play a part once I'm fully healed. You know what I mean? Get back out there. But yeah, the martial art, the action stuff, I think it's just what happened to it.
Mm.
That's how I feel. Like, other than Marvel, like, what just happened to, like, I remember I'm looking up Jean-Claude Van Damme. You type his name, and there's 200 movies.
Right.
I didn't even know he did, but they just put him in front of the camera, and he's fighting people, and it's a #1 hit at the box office. Like, you know what I mean? So I want more of that. I just want some, like, fighting, cool, just dope martial arts and action, dude. Yeah. I don't think we've even had, I mean, Wesley Snipes was the closest we've had. First of all, my dog's name is Blade because of Wesley Snipes. I love Wesley Snipes. And that's why when I think I did Superfly, I was like living the dream. I was like, I felt like Wesley. I felt like Keanu Reeves and Matrix. I was like, this is the dream. I just want to kick butt in slow-mo. I just want slow-mo, trench coat on.
How many times have you watched that movie?
Which one?
Superfly.
Only like once or twice.
Okay.
In and out of that. At the premiere even, I was knocked out. They were like, your movie's playing. I was like, yeah.
All right. So martial arts.
Yeah.
You're auditioning all of the time. What's your next big win? Like, what feels like a win to you?
Okay, I want to talk about real quick. Okay, wait. So I did Let It Shine, which was a Disney Channel movie that I think that was kind of like where I was going places and everybody was knowing who I was, like even out of the country. So that was like kind of a moment I felt that way. And then I was going to quit acting. After I did Let It Shine, I was going to be done.
Why?
I was over it. I was just over it. I was going to auditions. I wasn't getting it. I was like, man, I want to do the music thing anyway. Like, and it's funny, the day I said that, I get a call to do American Crime to go audition, and I didn't even look at the script. I'm like, I don't want to do this. She's like, Mom was like, just go, go on the audition. And however this goes, we don't have to do any more auditions. You can be done with acting. I was like, thank you. All right. So I went, and I literally go in there, grab the script, walk in there like, oh, okay. And they were like, oh my God, it's the best read we've ever had. We're going to send you straight to network. You're not even going to come back for a callback. We're sending you to network. Great job. Great job. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? So that reinvigorated my love for acting. Then I did Burning Sands.
Yeah.
That took me to Sundance. That was my first film I ever had at Sundance. And that kind of changed my life. I actually met Kenya out there. He's like, I got a job for you. I was like, all right. And ended up getting the call for Grownish and kind of went from there.
When it comes to your acting career, at what level do you feel like, at what moment are you like, I've made it? Like,
I still don't feel that way, by the way. But if I'm speaking like, factual wise, I guess you could say, Burning Sands, I did get a lot of like head raises of like people like, who is this guy acting like this? But Superfly obviously was like released everywhere. That was an honor and amazing. My dad made me watch that movie when I really wanted to do that for my dad, if I'm being honest, that role. I just knew he'd be super stoked about it. He like forced me to sit down when I was 7 years old. Like, you gotta watch Superfly. I'm like, Dad, what's this sugar that they keep playing with? And like, but he was like, don't worry about that part. Just watch the movie. Watch the movie. I'm like, okay, But when I got older, I understand how important that film is to us for our people. So, yeah, I was excited to do that.
Okay, so you've talked about this like incredible career you've been building as an actor, but of course, along the way, you've also had a storied music career, right? So when do you start doing the music thing? When do you get into music?
So I was probably 14. I was label shopping, met with everybody. Everybody was trying to sign me. Oh my God, this is the next guy. This is the next guy. Everybody's giving me the song and dance, telling me dreams, And it's crazy now that I'm an adult when I think about it that people really speak to children like this, like, but aren't serious about it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, these are little people's like whole lives and dreams. They think like this is real, but to you it's just like, hey, can I make some bread? Can I, you know what I mean? So when I get older, or continue to, get older, I want to create a space or a label or something that just kind of more, for that purpose. But so I met with everybody. Could have gone anywhere. I chose to go with Atlantic Records.
Why? What was the difference?
They made me some promises that no one else did. Hey, his album will come out in the next 5 months. He'll be the biggest star ever born. Second coming of Michael, Chris. Okay. This is right. Like, all right, cool.
Sounds great.
Sounds awesome, dude. Let's do it. Where do I sign? And it was awesome. I had a good experience. I was there for 5 years, but I just kind of grew up, and I was like, okay, I'm not feeling right doing music and doing videos that aren't from me. I don't like when, I'm not liking this feeling, but I tried it out, But hey, wear this, do this, sing this way. I was like, it means too much to me. Music does. So I don't think I couldn't have done that. So I left after 5 years.
What gave you the confidence to leave? There's so many people who would have wanted that shot. There's so many people who would have stayed in that seat, letting people tell them to do things that didn't feel right in their spirit. What made you feel like, you know what, I'm going to walk away? I know this is a great opportunity, but I'm walking.
But it's like what you were saying, that rubbing becomes raw and the skin starts breaking and you start bleeding. It's like, hey, like if you have a pair of jeans or something and just one, even though it's not like super painful, it just keeps rubbing. It's like, yo, I don't want to wear these jeans anymore. I love these jeans, but I got to throw these jeans away because they're uncomfortable. And so that's what it became. I just became uncomfortable, like not being fully myself. But I also had the strength to leave when me and my brother, we started writing the music. The last album I put out under Atlantic, I wrote the whole album with him. And I was like, we don't need to, they're spending $5,000 on a vocal producer, 5, 10, 20 grand on a songwriter, blah, blah. I'm like, I can write, I can do all of that. I can do all of that. And that's probably the greatest gift, I think, music-wise, is him and I learning to do that and recording ourselves, editing, engineering.
When you walked away from music that first time, did you walk away knowing that this was going to be the plan? Like, okay, I'm not going to do it with them, but I still have a career in music.
Oh, yeah.
At that time, was it okay?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
So you just were like, I got to find a different path.
Got to find a different path. And so I went to Empire, had a good time over there, and now I'm completely independent, and I'm kind of with United Masters now, which is freaking awesome. They're really dope partners. And I kind of just built my team, dude. I'm with ANPR. I got a product manager. I just kind of like looked at my life. And that's what I think. This is just like a simulation of like what life is. You keep going and you're realizing, okay, this piece doesn't work. This piece works. We're going to keep that. This piece works. And you just start building it. You just start building the armor, building the team, building the Avengers, as I like to say. And yeah.
You called them the Avengers. So my question is, any thoughts on how you build the right team to support your dreams? Just you saying Avengers to me signals that maybe you're trying to partner with people who are like best in their craft, right? Avengers are the superheroes. But any thoughts about the philosophy and the framework that you've used in terms of putting the team around you that's there?
People that see you, people that get it. I shouldn't have to like shake you to see. And if I do, then maybe it's just not time. Maybe we're not meant to work together yet. But like where I'm at, the boat is moving. So do you like the boat? Like the way the boat looks? Do you think you can help the way the boat looks? Do you think you can help speed the boat up? These are things I'm asking, but I'm not going, because you can go to the best yada yada in the land and they're giving you attitude, or they might have a little, and it just doesn't mesh. So I've been following good. I've been following, synergy, and also people who understand that I'm here to play no games. As hard as I am going in the studio for 10 hours, 12 hours, I need you on emails. I need you doing all that the same. And everybody wins when we do that. You know what I mean?
People who see you, people who have the same work ethic as you.
Yeah.
It sounds like people who can push you, but not people who push you outside of the way that you, that the direction of the boat.
The best version of me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Executing at a high level.
Okay, so I know you're working on new music right now. You want to talk about that a little bit?
So I just dropped Heads Up, which is my EP that came out. I freaking love it. I think you guys will love it too if you just listen to it. It's pretty awesome. I got some great features on there.
Who?
I got Malika Terry on there. I got Paris Ladam on there. I think those are only 2 features on there.
Why do you love it? What is it about this album? Your first thing is, I love it. Why do you love it?
Oh, I love it. It's so good. I'm sorry, but that's where I'm at. Like, I feel like I'm in the best stages of music making right now. It's free. It's real. I think the realness is why I like it a lot too. Like 2 of the songs on there, I wrote on the spot because of something that happened 15 seconds before I started writing them. And I think it's also touchy. It's a touchy subject. When I started writing this album, it was from the perspective of the guy on the side, right? We always talk about the side chick, but the guy on the side we don't talk about as much. And I've not super proud of it, but I've been the guy on the side. You know what I mean? And it's a weird place to be in because, I feel like everybody's trying to live the maximum life moment to moment, and sometimes you can forget, the repercussions of, doing something now and the effects later, but we're all just trying to be happy and, feel good. And I think sometimes your heart and your mind and your body kind of do this dance And so that's kind of what this album represents. It's like, yeah, I know you have the situation, but when you're with me, it feels like you really love me. Do you? Or why are you this way with him and this way with me? So that's kind of like the origin of this album, but I just think it's something that's not talked about as much. And I really wanted that to be, a sign. Like, yeah, sometimes we're the guy on the side and sometimes we like it, sometimes we don't. It's complicated,
You started out by saying something like, I believe I'm in the best music making season.
Yes.
So how did you get there? Part of it feels like you had to do the smart move, which is realizing that when you were making music that didn't fit your spirit, you walked away, right? So that's got to be. How else?
Spirit.
Anybody else who's trying to get to the place to be the best music making season of their life, how do you get there?
I say don't be happy with yourself until you impress yourself. And that's something that I strive to do every time I'm in the studio. If I don't go, ooh, you did that? If I'm doing some stuff, I'm like, okay, Trevor's done that before. Like whether it's a bar, whether it's a riff, whether it's a sound. I think that's something I'm always trying to do is like make myself go, dang, you wrote that, you killed that, or like you sang that. And so I'm always trying to push myself. I think that's a good one. And then I think being real. I think it's funny because it's like the songs that I write the fastest are the songs that most people like. Like even this project, the Forget About Me song is kind of like one that everybody's like, I really like that song. I'm like, I wrote that in like an hour. But that was just because it was one of those moments. I was thinking about something that somebody had said to me, and I'm trying to watch TV, but it's like I can't even focus because it just keeps playing over and over. I was like, I got to go downstairs, and I got to write this song. And then once I wrote it, I could go chill and relax. So it's almost, again, I think I'm insane, and to keep myself sane, I write music.
I have to imagine that most artists aren't writing music in 15 minutes or an hour. And those who do, those who are able to get it off of them that quickly, I have to imagine that they'll probably still spend hours, days, or weeks reworking that music. It sounds like you are once you get some of this stuff out and it's on paper, you're good. What makes you not need to go back and rework and check?
It depends on the song. So if it's a song like that, then yeah, because it was everything that I was feeling, I gave it to it at that time. But you have other songs. It's like, hey, I've been working on a song for a few days. Those songs, you'll kind of go back in and keep touching and make it sound really cute and really nice. Oh, this sounds good. But some of the stuff that I write quickly is raw. I'm hearing the mess up in the take. I'm hearing the beeping in the back. And all of that I want to keep because that all represents a moment in time that I was feeling that. And I think you just get the most authentic performance in those times. But yeah, so I guess it's all dependent upon the song. But if it's organic and it's, yeah.
So here you are at the top of this mountain, right?
Yeah.
Been doing amazing things on the acting side, amazing things on the music side.
Thank you.
What does the next mountaintop look like for you?
Oh, Grammys. Yeah, I want a Grammy. I want more than one. I want 12.
Okay.
Yeah. I want 12 of them. But and that's the thing. It's like that's a goal, but I also want to just continue to make music and be happy.
Is music the priority right now for you?
At this particular moment in time, yes. But Martin Scorsese could call. Really, Scott, because Scott really could call anybody, any of these huge directors. Let's go. I'm ready to go to work. And here's the good news about me as a music artist who does acting or acting artist who does music. I have so much music that it won't mess up my scheduling for creating the next album. I literally have 5 albums that I'm just waiting to disperse. So we could go shoot and I could not spend a day in the studio while I'm on set and still have the next project ready.
How do you know when it's time to release the next one?
Story. I'm such a storyteller that I've even done it in my own life. Sometimes I've kept myself in a season that I probably shouldn't be in because I know that the music is going to come there and I want it to be real, even if I've evolved from that space. So that's kind of a difficult place to be in. But I've been planning it out since I've made these albums. I was just in the car on the way here with my brother talking about, hey, what's the order we're going to do? I was like, because I think I want this album, but then I'm probably going to be here at this time. And, that was the old me. So now I'm going to boom, boom. I've already lived my life out musically already. Now I'm just catching up.
The rest of the world gets to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. With
you, right?
But the scary part about that is okay, is the music going to get old? Is people, the sound going to feel different? So just trying to figure out when to drop stuff is always a little difficult because I want to drop it all at once, but then where's the fun in that?
Yeah, there's also, I think that would be interesting. There's also this thought around it sounds like you're one of those people that always stays creating, right? I don't think you would talk to most musicians and they're sitting on 5 albums, right?
Yeah.
Consistently or
always. Yeah. Oh, always, dude. And then, you know, I remember my brother, we were having a conversation. He's like, I'm focused on this album right now. I know you want to talk about that. He's like, but we haven't even fully put the new album out yet. And I'm like, I know, but did you hear the new one? And I got 15 tracks. And when you just listen to these talking about them, he's like, I will. Just let me, finish this over here. You know what I mean?
Oh, good.
Yeah, I got to.
All right, before we get out of here, I'm going to...
This was fun, dude. Great questions. Good time.
It's definitely been good.
Let's go.
Before we get out of here, any final words, any last thoughts that you want to leave the audience with?
Stick it out. Stick it out. Don't give up. Endure. It's going to get hard, and then it's going to get harder, man. And then it's going to get harder than that. But there's a quote that was on the end of one of my first albums. Tommy Lee Jones is talking to Will Smith in Men in Black. And Will Smith is like, hey, is it worth it? And he's like, oh, yeah, it's worth it. If you're strong enough. And that was like the end of my album. And that was the first album I had written, you know, with my brother, that we kind of took control. But that just kind of is ringing true now. Like when you ask me that, it's like, yeah, it's worth it, man. But you gotta bear everything that comes with it. And then it makes it sweeter, I suppose. I've been realizing too, I'm doing a lot of stuff for the younger me. Remember the younger you that kind of got you where you are? You like to kind of, people like, oh man, that was a dorky me, or I was a nerd, or I was, well, but it's like, yo, that was the heart and the engine that got you to this place now. So love on you, love on the old you, be ready for the new you.
Yeah, Brother King.
Thank you, man.
Such a fantastic conversation.
Yeah,
Thank you
awesome.
for putting in the work. Thank you for always staying creating. Thank you for coming here to inspire and drop gems for those who want to sit in the seat that you sit in now.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. It's an honor to have you on the Blackprint.
It's awesome. What a great freaking interview. This guy. Come on, love. What a great interview. I feel better. Thank you.
Trevor Jackson, what an incredible story. One that is different than so many because he actually begins his journey as a child kind of star and celebrity as he lands his first work with the Lion King. One of the things that I love about Trevor's story is the framing. He talks about how he learned about this idea called the hero's journey, and then he leverages that framework to position himself as the hero. And so then when you understand that the hero has to go through dark times, alone times where you have to be coached and trained, it allowed him that when he went through dark moments or lonely moments to make sense of it all, but to also be able to keep his eye on the prize, meaning this is just what it takes to become a hero. And so I love that he embraced that framework, and that framework allowed him to move through the adversities that he experienced in his career journey. Another thing that I love about Trevor's story is he talks about the importance of being authentic to yourself and true to your art. When he first signs his label deal, he is making music that doesn't hit his soul right. He is dressing and being moved in ways that don't feel right for who he is. And so he makes a very difficult decision to walk away. And so then if you follow the rest of his journey, it turns out to be one of the best decisions that he could ever make. Because as an independent artist, he is now doing the work he loves, singing the music that he likes. He said it's the best music he's made in his career. And so sometimes we have to be willing to walk away from what seems like a really good deal, but is not true to our spirit and true to who we are and true to the art that we want to put into the world. And we have to wait patiently for the other opportunity to really show the world who we are. And the last thing for Trevor, for me, is the way that he closed out when we said, what's that next mountaintop? And he said 12 Grammys. And why I love that dream is because it is a dream that is big. He didn't say 1. He didn't say 2. He said he needs 12. And so that is such a great reminder for all of us to dream big, dream the improbable, dream the impossible, and see where you land.